Good morning, everybody. It's your girl, Miracle Sims, and you are listening to God, Sex, and Love, your daily dose of inspiration, the juice. It is June the 19th, 2020, and I want to wish everyone a happy Juneteenth. I know everybody's excited about this day on today. If you're not familiar with Juneteenth, it is the unofficial American holiday and an official Texas holiday that commemorates June 19th, 1865. On that day, General Gordon Granger announced the federal orders in the city of Galveston, Texas, that all slaves in Texas were now free. And just for the record, friends, this was about 2.5 years after the Emancipation Proclamation, which was the formal, address that freed those slaves. And so, that's very interesting to think about. However, again, this is a beautiful, beautiful day. They also call it Freedom Day, Jubilee Day, Liberation Day, and Emancipation Day. So yes, happy Juneteenth, one and all. And hope that you all take a little time and reflect on that and celebrate that on today. Speaking of, my topic of today is perfect vision. I want to start with Mark 8:22 through 26. Now that is something for you all to go deeper with. I'm just going to read verse 25. All right. It says, after that, he put his hands again upon his eyes and made him look up, and he was restored and saw every man clearly. So if you guys are not familiar with this story, just to paraphrase it a bit, but you guys gonna take some time and read it on your own now. Go ahead and take some time to do that. But just to paraphrase it a bit, this is the account of the blind man that was brought to Jesus. And I know you guys are like, which one, right? But yeah, or the one that he ended up, spitting in his hands and touching his eyes, and then asked him, could he see? He said he see men walking as trees, and then he did it again, and then he saw clearly, which is the verse that I just read to you all. I don't know, I guess just thinking about, Juneteenth, how these slaves were freed, 2 years after they had been freed, and how they went from not knowing they were free to all of a sudden being free, and then just reflecting also on this man who was blind and now can see. Man, both of those things are a lot to just reflect on. I don't know what you all see or hear, or what's coming to your mind when you hear about those two accounts and those two things. But like I said, I guess I find it interesting, to say the least. Like, I know on one hand you kind of wonder, like, well, why? How come they didn't know X, Y, and Z? Well, as you all know, technology and communication was a lot different back then, and apparently that was a remote. Texas kind of was remote in regards to the U.S. back then or something like that. So I guess that's why they didn't get the news on time, I guess. And then again, when it comes to this whole thing about the blind man and now being able to see, I guess it, as you all know, or you probably have heard at least once or twice, once 2020 came around, it's like, oh yes, 2020, year of perfect vision. Everybody was getting ready to say that when the year started, and now everyone's feeling some kind of way about 2020. They want 2020 to be over. X, Y, and Z. I looked up 2020 vision, by the way, and what I found was very, very interesting, friends. Without holding any more information back, long story short, y'all, 2020 doesn't mean perfect vision. It actually means normal vision. Which I found pretty interesting. Basically, it says that 2020 only indicates the sharpness or clarity of vision at a distance. Now again, that's another thing to reflect on. How is 2020 the year? How is it similar to 2020 vision? That indicates the sharpness or clarity of vision at a distance. Man, I mean, it's interesting that on today, again, is Juneteenth, and here we are. I mean, I guess the African American community in particular, but let's just talk about the human race as well. Is that, on one side, there's some humans fighting for freedoms, and then on the other, or maybe across the board, everybody's fighting for unity, maybe. Yeah, friends. Again, like I said, there's a lot to let it marinate on your hearts, minds, and souls today about all of those things and how they correlate and what God is trying to show us using all of those things on today. While we reflect on that, let's check out Isaiah 35:5. It says, "Then the eyes of the blind shall be opened, and the ears of the deaf unstopped." Then I came across Genesis 3:7. It says, "Then the eyes of both were opened, and they knew that they were naked, and they sewed fig leaves together and made themselves loin cloths." Y'all, I don't know what y'all are hearing today, but again, if I'm reflecting on all those things, let's stay here in 2020. All right, so much going on, right? So let's stay in 2020 for a moment and think about, what is becoming clear to us, and the clarity. What are we seeing with the sharpness and clarity of our vision at a distance right now? I guess as a nation. And then also reflect on when Adam and Eve's eyes was open and how they both, they knew that they were naked. I think right now, I'm kind of feeling as if the correlation is that, we're seeing ourselves clearly at a distance. It's almost like an out of body experience or something like that. And we're looking at ourselves, and we know that we are naked. Sometimes when people are naked, they are also feeling ashamed. They sold themselves some loincloths, and so in some ways they were hiding their shame, and things like that, or trying to hide their shame now that their eyes are open to it. I don't know, y'all. Like I said, for me, this whole thing is a bunch of reflection. Even if you are getting this clarity and you're looking at yourself, let's just focus on ourselves, okay? So we're looking at ourselves from a distance, and we're seeing that, we are naked, and we need to, sew ourselves some loincloths, or we need to hide this shame, or we need to, we're recognizing some of these things, I guess, in ourselves for the first time, perhaps. some of us, I guess. I guess the thing is, friends, to understand that, as believers in Christ, God is with us. There's nothing to be ashamed about. Instead of hiding, perhaps we can go and bring these things to God, these things that He is showing us in this time about ourselves, and not only see what He wants to do with them, but also just, sometimes there might be some things to get rid of, or some things to change, or whatever like that. But take it to God and see what He has for you. I guess that's the bit of juice this morning. And I didn't say bitter. I was saying bit of, but I don't know. I like juice, so I don't know. But anywho, 2 Kings 6:16 and 18. You guys again can read the entire thing for yourself. But this is just a reminder for us, in regards to, the things that we come across, that we are noticing, that we are seeing clearly, that we need to not hide from, but take to God. Well, this is why, friends. So it's 2 Kings 6:16 and 18, just paraphrasing. Elijah prayed, "Oh Lord, please open his eyes that he may see." So the Lord opened the eyes of the young man, and he saw, and behold, the mountain was full of horses and chariots of fire all around Elisha. Friends, God has our back. He's with us. He's for us. He loves us. And perhaps this is a time for us to see that, not just be blinded by all the things that's going on in this world. I think perhaps we should open our eyes, or ask God, Lord, please open our eyes for what you are trying to show us in this moment, and allow us to see things the way you see it. And you might be surprised by what you see. But yep. Proverbs 23 and 26 says, "My son, give me your heart, and let your eyes observe my ways." Let's observe, friends. We are in 2020. We are getting clarity, and we are looking at things from a distance. Well, let's take it to God, and let's observe His ways at this time. This is a time of reflection, a time of reflection, and yes, maybe even resetting. I found that interesting this morning that, right before I was getting ready to write down the Bible verse of the day, it seems like my phone started to freeze. You know how that go, right? So if your phone started to freeze, what's the best thing you can do to get it back going? Restart. So I hope that encourages you this morning, that it's okay, to take these things to God and go ahead and restart. You never know, friends, once you receive the information that you need to receive from Him, it might go back to, what Juneteenth represents. Some of those alternate names: Freedom Day, Jubilee Day, Liberation Day, Emancipation Day. All right, friends, the Bible verse of today is Revelations 21 and 4. It says, "And God shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away." Friends, I hope you guys enjoyed this juice this morning. Thank you all so much for listening to God, Sex, and Love, your daily dose of inspiration, the juice. Please go forth and have a wonderful, wonderful day. And I look forward to talking to you all tomorrow, if the Lord's will. Bye-bye.